So,
what are you doing with the rest of your life?
oh, little of this, little of that.
Tell me a little bit about Steve Carell and Keira Knightley's auditions. Like, were they your first choice? Or...
Yeah, I mean, they didn't audition, you know.
Oh. Okay.
They're very big actors, and I am no one. So I had to audition for them,
Okay.
you know, but they were top choices, obviously. Steve is someone who, you know, I felt like I was writing these archetypes for a very long time in different scripts. I've always sort of, you know, in romantic comedies, I feel like the guy is usually this like womanizer or a man-child, and the girl is kind of this like uptight, type A sort of personality. And I guess because that's not me, I've never really related too much to those kinds of relationships. And so, you know, as a more of a free spirit myself, who's kind of been drawn to the, you know, the more withdrawn kind of guy, I always felt like I was always writing this kind of pair, you know, this sort of love story between these two types of characters. And so when I was thinking of, you know, who would be most interesting to watch at the end of the world, and thinking of Dodge as this guy who's sort of been sleepwalking through life and really in need of an awakening, you know, I went back to all of those scripts that I had written, and I had Steve Carell in mind for all of them. And so I just couldn't imagine that we would get him for something like this. But you know, he's such a great everyman, but he's such a man, and that I think is what separates him from most people. You know, he brings such humanity to his characters, and in all of his roles, I feel like he's found this incredible blend of comedy and tragedy. And so, you know, even Michael Scott on The Office, I mean, you could really see the pain behind his smile, and he's so nuanced and so subtle, and so. He was certainly my dream choice for Dodge, and then yeah, I thought about, well, you know, who's the kind of girl to you know, who has that kind of energy and could, like, you know, light a fire underneath him, and Keira's just always, I mean, I know she's, you know, used to playing these sort of more icier roles in these period pieces, but she just has such an energy to her and a light to her that you know, you could even see it in the old Pirates movies. I mean, when she's, you know, toe-to-toe with Johnny Depp, but how old was she? 12, you know? So I think the idea that she is such a firecracker and is that kind of person to you know, to give him a little hot foot, and so I was really excited about seeing them each in their respective roles, but also to put them together.
How do you, in your own opinion, think in the real world a relationship, how it builds between a guy and a girl do you think it'll be more a trueness to it under pressure like this situation, or do you think there's more trueness when you think you have all the time in the world?
You know, I don't know. I do think it has an effect. I mean, I think, you know, women probably have ticking clocks in their own heads, probably more so than men. So that seems like something that really does have an effect on relationships. I feel like that's the kind of thing that would rush somebody into something, maybe, or force someone to settle for someone because they're, you know, they're hearing their mortality coming.
Almost like a sense of urgency.
Yeah, that sense of urgency, and you know, in a way, I think if you took forever off the table, there is something freeing about it, because you're really looking at who do you want to be with right now, and what makes you happy in your daily life. And so, I mean, I think it's both. I mean, obviously, you know, in the real world, we're hoping to, you know, go on for a while and meet somebody and be with them for however long. And so, so I do think it, you know, in reality, it obviously is kind of a different story. But I think it does have an effect if you can manage to live in the present as much as possible. And that was why I was excited to explore these ideas of you know, if there's no future, and a character like Dodge who hasn't really been living in the present. I mean, it seems like he would obviously go and chase the past, and I think most people would. I think it's hard for people to imagine that there's anything else really, you know, up ahead, and so so I think that's a pretty natural kind of reaction to this and to life in general, that you know there's the glory days that you're always sort of thinking about, or the one that got away or something, and so I do think that time has a profound effect on people's relationships and you know, and how they handle themselves with other people. people.
You were in this situation. Tell me now, how would you like to spend your last days, and who would you want to spend them with?
Face down in a cake. My dog's just gnawing at me. No, I mean, you know, it's really boring. I would want to spend it with my friends and family. I just have to find a balance between hanging out with my mom 24/7 and you know, indulging in some vices probably. But yeah, no, I mean, I guess I feel like I've been leading a fairly honest life to this point. So it would still be the same people that I you know, love right now. I want them
Still
to
the
be,
people
and
beside
really
you.
my dogs are very important to me.
Fashion questions for you. Love that dress.
Thanks.
Who is it?
I don't know. I have no idea.
It's adorable.
Thanks. It wasn't that much money, which was the most exciting thing about it.
You like to hear that about slips.
Yes, I mean, you can get this yourself. Yeah, no, I have no idea. I don't know. The shoes are fancier than most things I have.
Are those Louis Vuittons?
Yeah.
Love them.
Yeah. Well, if they weren't, I would just paint a red soul on the bottom of them anyway.
You cannot live without. It can be an accessory. It can be a fashion item.
Gosh, in a fashion world or
Yes.
in a chapstick.
Okay.
I'm gonna start there. Yeah, chapstick, mascara. You know, these are probably the basics, and then I do have a pretty ridiculous shoe collection. I mean,
okay.
of all things, because I'm not too girly, but you know, I'm trying to learn about jewelry and
Okay.
makeup and things like that. But the shoes are probably
Chic
where it's
Spy
at.
Agent. What would be your code name?
Ooh. So agent something.
Agent. It can be agent something, or it can just be a single name. You know, it could just be one name, something that describes you.
You know what I grew up with? Shorty.
Shorty.
Shorty was my name since I was, well, you know, I was a year younger than everybody I went to school with. I skipped kindergarten for no reason, and so I was really small growing up. And still am really small. So, you know, Agent Shorty is probably it. I gave myself that nickname my first day of school. I was trying to beat people to the punch. So when I came home from school the first day, my mother was like, "Hello, my name is Shorty. What is that?" And I was like, "Look, I know what I'm doing." So I'm going to stick with Shorty.